this thing on? It is? Oh, good. It's time for another episode of The Score. This is the podcast where we look at the arts and culture through our Black queer lenses. As always, I am your co-host, Rocky Jones, and I'm here with my two brilliant co-hosts. First, of course, we have the lovely and talented and moisturized and glowing in this gloomy, dark Minnesota, gross, rainy weather.
Oh dear.
Paige Reynolds. Hello, Paige. How are you doing?
I'm all right,
Yeah.
feeling bad and blonde
Okay.
today.
Okay. Yes. Love that. And live from Utah and saltier than the great Salt Lake itself, the beautiful, the brilliant Dr. Lee Bynum. Hello, Dr. Lee Bynum. How are you?
Good morning, Puerto Rico.
Oh, Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And I am feeling bad and brunette this morning.
Okay.
Hey,
And I'm feeling bad and black.
okay, all right. Just a group of baddies,
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Well, it is our first episode for the month of June, so I want to just officially
Oh,
say happy Pride to you and yours. I
happy
hope.
Pride, queers.
Happy
Yes.
Pride.
And even though the world is a mess and seems to be getting worse and worse by the second, I hope you all are taking a moment to have a little pride, a little rainbow flavored joy this month, and go hug a queer person.
Yeah. If you have their permission.
Yes, yes. Ask and then hug the queer person.
Unless you're really good looking and really wealthy, in which case maybe just take a roll of the die. Somebody will be fine with that hug.
That's a beautiful sentiment for the season.
I know my people.
If you're hot and rich,
Mhm.
have the happiest pride and come see me. So, what's going on, kids?
I saw something that I found so offensive, and
Oh,
I wanted to bring it to the show.
oh my God.
Um,
Okay.
Oh, I'm
and
ready.
this is directed to our brethren at the Grammys.
Mm.
And the little stunt they're
Oh, I saw
pulling.
that. I know what you're
Yeah.
about to say.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So since certain people won the Grammy for Best Country Album, they have decided to split the category, and now there's a new category called Best Traditional Country Album, and a second category called For the Rest of You Motherfuckers. And I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I
Mm.
really, really don't. Actually, I do know how I feel about it. I'm angry. I'm heated. I hope
Mm.
Beyonce wins both of them next year.
I hope so.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Because I'm not quite sure what is non-traditional about Cowboy Carter other than the fact
Exactly.
that it was produced.
by a negress.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not just Miss Carter that they're mad about. I think they're just mad about
Mhm.
black country rural folks just having a moment in general. They can't
Yeah,
take the Beyoncés, they can't take the K Michelle, then went
yeah,
back to her country roots. They can't take the Tanner Adells and the Valerie
yeah,
Junes and the Rhiannon Giddens of it all. They're just sick.
yes,
They're just sick.
yes,
And
yes.
to be perfectly frank, what could be more traditional than Rhiannon Giddens and a banjo?
Thank you. Thank you. Right? I mean, it was nice and traditional 150 years ago when it was happening on plantation, right? So
Mhm.
what's the situation now? Right?
It's fine when it's part of a minstrel show.
Right.
So, was there any sort of specific definition? Because I did see the headline and I just rolled my eyes because then all of a sudden it was World War III and we're rolling back
Ah,
vaccines and
yeah,
we're
that too.
Big Beautiful
Yeah.
Bill and all of this nonsense. But
Yeah, I am curious about the difference because I mean, technically, as I just named, you still gonna see us dominating either
No,
category. So
oh,
you can
absolutely.
create as many
Well,
categories as you want.
because they
I'll
do
tell you
also
what they
have like,
said.
oh, what did they say?
Country music has evolved in a major way over the past decade, with traditional country experiencing a massive resurgence, growing in popularity and volume. Traditional country has a timeless, distinct sound that's inspired generations of musicians throughout the years. It's an important part of the country music story and deserves to be celebrated and recognized with intention.
So Cowboy Carter is not timeless.
Apparently, and it's not a thing that will inspire generations of musicians. But I think everybody on this podcast is a musician, and I think we were all inspired by it. Like I'm just confused, and I know a reindeer game when I see it. Um,
Mhm.
so I don't. I just I didn't like it. I didn't like it, and I feel like I'd be a lot happier if people just said what they meant, right? Right? Just say what the actual problem is. But yeah, so
Hmm.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
well, that's fun.
Ah,
Right.
the hypocrisy.
Well, speaking of white nonsense, how's Utah?
First of all, so y'all have heard me say this before. Maybe everybody who's listening doesn't know. I count Black people wherever I go because I don't want to
Mhm.
be the only. And I have really not been able to use more than one hand. And the most Black people that I've seen have still been at this conference, the League of American Orchestras. So already there are not a lot of Black people here, right? So we are really in the desert, and we're just not over here. I mean, we're just not over here. So, and there's also like rules about liquor. So here I was
Uh-oh.
at breakfast this
Hmm.
morning, um,
Trying to
and
have
she
some
said,
liquor at breakfast?
right, thank you. And she and the waitress was like, "Oh, can I bring you something besides water?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'd like a Bloody Mary." And before I could say what I wanted in my Bloody Mary, because I like it a special way, she was like, "Oh, it's not yet 11:30." I was like, "I know that." And then she was like, "So I can't bring you a drink." And I said, "Why? I'm grown." And she was like, "Well, we just can't." So yeah, when I leave today, it will be for the final time. I do not understand, and I didn't like it.
So is it like it's not legal to serve
I don't know if they're on
before
some kind of
11:30?
ration. I don't know what the situation is. It made no sense. And what is 11:30?
I,
Right,
hmm, I don't
right.
know.
Yeah, no, nope, last
Hmm.
time,
I'm
not.
also like, y'all ain't heard of brunch? Brunch
Thank
done been
you.
started by 11:30.
I
Y'all need
mean,
to start earlier than that.
And then had the nerve to bring over some dry ass, unseasoned potatoes. It was like, what is happening here?
you need to call Lisa Barlow and get some Vita tequila. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, I just need to go. I don't think everybody is equipped to leave the East Coast. I think some people probably just need to stay on the East Coast, and I might be one of them. Because every time I try to do a different thing, it goes left, and it goes left immediately.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was
Mm-hmm.
certainly a difficult adjustment for me, I have to say. It took years before I could look at a clock and it would say like, "Oh, it's 4:30," and me not go, "But it's really 5:30." Like that took years.
Oh, that's just petty.
But yeah, no, it's just different. It's just people just move different. And it's
People do move different out here. Yeah. And by out here, I mean away from the East Coast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Although, as a Midwesterner who is from Detroit,
Yes.
I do need to make the point that all of us Midwest kind of states are not the same.
I'll give you that.
So
I
when we
give you
Detroit
say
is a
out
that.
special
here,
place.
you can't group all of us,
That
you
is true.
know.
That is true. That is true.
Because though I'm in Minneapolis and it's technically not that far from Michigan, I will still quickly point out to people, oh no, I'm not from here though. I mean, I'm from the Midwest, but I'm not from here.
Yeah,
Different
And
I'm
it's
place,
like,
a-okay
different
with some of them.
vibes.
Detroit, Chicago, New Orleans. Like there are places in the not, you know,
Hmm.
East Coast that I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely into it.
and of course,
But you
the
know what those
West
places
Coast
have in
is
common?
lovely. Hmm.
Black people.
Black people.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. There we go.
That wasn't hard. But the West Coast is lovely, I have to say. I've had
Bits
some
and pieces.
bits and pieces, bits and pieces.
Yes. Because some of it is wiggity, wiggity, whack.
Yes.
Talking to you, Oregon.
Ooh,
Oh, what did Oregon do?
shots fired.
KKK.
Oh, well, that. Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
Hmm.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm slow to forgive on, you know, people in hoods. Oh, because I saw Sinners. It was so good. I loved it.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, it was
Oh
really, really
my
good.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it's fiction. Rocky didn't see it,
Yeah,
did
Rocky
he?
didn't
And
see it.
and horror.
It's really not. It's what's scary about it is these hillbillies. Like the rest of it is it's all Michael B. Jordan running around playing two roles,
I do
looking
like Michael.
splendiferous.
I do like to look at
Fantastic.
Michael B. Jordan. He
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
Speaking of
Clearly
tongue.
made on a Saturday because God himself took a day off after that one.
He had to catch his breath.
Yeah, how he managed to be two different types of fine,
Two different types
and
of fine.
that's wild. That's
It
wild.
yeah. I really, really like that movie. I liked it so much I watched it twice.
Same.
Yeah.
Yep. And I
Wow.
might go again.
I'm
If any of my friends
actually
haven't seen it yet, I will gladly go with you.
Well, maybe I'll have to check it out if it's not too scary and bloody and gory.
it's not bloody or gory, not too scary. If you watch it, we should do a little episode poo on it because there's so much to unpack around race, class, region, gender. It's all in there and it's all I mean Ryan Coogler is special. There's one musical
He's
sequence
brilliant.
and it just goes through the entire diaspora, the history, it moves through indigeneity in America, takes a detour through China. Like it is one of the most spectacular sequences I've seen in a movie in a really long time. They need to stop playing with Ryan Coogler and give him a couple of Oscars.
He is the best filmmaker of this generation,
Point blank,
period. I was
period.
reminded he was 24 when he made Fruitvale Station.
Oh
Right.
my
He was
gosh.
24 years old.
Yes.
Wow. I didn't know that.
hmm hmm
Yeah,
Still one of the
yeah,
best movies.
Wow.
just wild. Also, you have to see it because of Delroy Lindo.
Yeah.
And that is the first
Yeah.
time, though there are other movies that feature Black Southerners, that is the first time I have seen a Black man looking and sounding like accent wise and
hmm
just like vernacular, looking and sounding like my granddaddy on screen.
Wow.
That was it blew my mind. It just,
He's such a
yeah.
great actor and so underrated. Like the fact that he's not a household name with a shelf full of awards and he's been so consistently great. I mean, I still love everything that he did in Malcolm X. Like speaking
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
looking and sounding like my grandfather in that one, like that, I mean, he's such a great actor with
Hmm.
this phenomenal range. Like I mean, I could talk about this movie, its cast, like it was superlative. was
All
great.
right. Well, I think you have convinced me, and maybe for our
Ooh,
next show, I'll figure out a way
yes.
to get my eyes on it. But if it's scary, I'm gonna have words for y'all.
I mean, it's
Don't.
streaming now. It's
Okay.
streaming now, so you can be in the comfort of your home with a pillow to hide
Mhm.
behind at any time.
All right. All right. All right. All right. Well, speaking of scary things, also, we have not chatted since the Tonys happened.
Oh yeah, there were some
Woo!
scary moments in there,
Woo!
weren't there, child?
Jump
I didn't have to
scare.
watch, but I heard some things. I
I
heard some things, including that the girl should be scared of Miss Carol.
Yes,
Yes.
they should.
Yes,
She
they
is cleaning
should.
clocks.
Oh my goodness.
I was also very, I was pleasantly surprised that she won again, and not because of anything about her, just because of
Mm,
how uncommon it is to win consecutively. And
hmm
also the same with the play Purpose. Like people were saying all kinds of things were going to happen, and I was so happy to see that. And then also Cola Scola to see a
hmm
non-binary actor winning Best Actor that felt good, and I loved it. They had that little homage to Bernadette Peters in the dress. I thought it made me very, very happy to catch that. So,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I have to say, Audra Ann, her performance of Rose's Turn, it was so interesting because I saw Gypsy in December,
hmm
and it was just how she grew into the role. And like I don't mean that in any kind of patronizing way. I mean, obviously it's Audra McDonald, right? Like she's a gifted actress. But the where she was in December, where it was like, okay, yeah, she sort of nailed it. She's solid, solid, right? And to see how profoundly disquieting like her delivery of a character in a mental breakdown in a 4-minute song was. I hope people will run to the theater to see a moment of Black history with a Black actress playing what is thought of as the greatest role in the musical theater for a woman. I don't know that we're going to get another one of those anytime soon. So I was really glad about that. And also congratulations to the Pussycat Doll. Dump job. Good for her.
Good for her. Good for
Yeah,
her.
good for her.
Loosened up my buttons.
So of
You
course
know,
Damien had to start doing the choreography, um, which was, I guess, welcome.
I saw the other night a video where it was just prominent actresses throughout history doing Rose's turn. So it was like Angela Lansbury, Imelda Staunton, Patti LuPone, Bernadette Peters, so on and so forth, all the way through to
Mhm.
that performance that Audra did. And it was just like, it was striking because, like, obviously Audra's was at the end, and I was just sort of like, oh,
Right.
that's that's real different, and
Yeah.
that is real impactful, and she just interpreted it in a completely different way than any of those other
Yeah.
actresses before her in a way that was just, I don't know, I was a little gobsmacked, I have to admit. Because I was
No,
just like,
it was
I'm
great.
hearing this song in a completely different way. So
No,
good on her.
Mm.
yeah, it was. It was good, and I think it makes me want to go back and see it again before it closes to kind of see how everybody has grown into the roles and where it landed, and maybe also once you take the pressure off of having to win a Tony,
Hmm
maybe you get to settle into your role in a different kind of a way, and can play it with a different kind of reckless abandon. So yeah, it was good. And like I feel like coming back to working in theater after not having done it in 15 years. In this particular season, with so many things happening that are very exciting to me. Um, yeah, it's very happy making. I will miss you, opera, but this is a lovely
Stop.
new chapter.
Stop lying. I know you.
You were trying to keep it cute. You were
I
trying to keep
really
it cute, but
was.
we
You were trying to be classy. I see you. You don't have to be classy. You could let your hair down on this podcast.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Put your feet up. Sit a spell. All right. Well, I think I'm ready to take a little journey back to 2016. What do you all
Mhm.
say? And
Oh
continue
my.
our journey down the path of season 11 of RuPaul's Drag Race. We are covering episode 3 today. So if you haven't watched it yet, pause and go to Paramount Plus, check it out. It's a very interesting episode.
It Interesting is definitely the word for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very unusual. But we'll get into all of that right after the break. All right, and we are back, and it is time to talk Drag Race. So this is, like I said before, season 11, episode 3, Diva Worship. And so just in case you need your memory refreshed,
Mhm.
last time we were talking about episode 2, of course, where they were doing movie parodies. Kahana Montrese was eliminated in that neon
Mm.
yellow pussycat wig.
Mm.
That was
Mm.
just, oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
The glitter
Yeah.
that looked like body hair.
Like, ma'am. But, good for her. She comes back in All Stars and she has it together. But, whew, 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 whew. And speaking of who has it together, for whatever reason, because I'm gay and me, I was served content on Instagram of Sugarcane, who apparently
Ah.
recently got married. So, congratulations,
Oh,
Sugarcane.
congratulations, Sugar.
But Sugar's drag, she has really stepped it up. And she looks
Ah.
absolutely gorgeous.
She's one of my favorites on this season, so I'm glad to hear that. I had
Yes.
wondered, you know, when we got this current crop of All Stars 10, where Sugarcane was, because I feel like we're overdue for a reintroduction, and some of these girls who've been on the season I didn't necessarily need on this season. So hopefully we will see her in season 11, Rue.
I was going to ask how you're feeling about All Stars, but Paige, I didn't know if you've been watching at all.
I have not. I have
Oh,
not been
okay.
watching, but I will, and I do not want it spoiled.
I won't spoil it then. I will only say this. I usually stop watching shows when the mean girls show up. Like that killed my
Mm.
Real Housewives of Potomac.
Mm.
Uh, Heavenly killed my watching of Married to
Yeah,
Medicine.
mama.
Like I don't like that. I didn't like middle school and I don't want to revisit it. So the last couple of episodes of All Stars were they just pissed me off. Like I just didn't appreciate it. But I'm not gonna stop watching the show.
Mm.
I'm an addict. Like,
That's interesting. Mean Girls don't make it more interesting or fun to you. You're just like, I'm over it.
yeah, not when it's not if it's a fun kind of a mean girl
If
thing
it's
when
if it's
everybody's in
artful
on the
shade,
joke.
yeah.
Right, like Sheree and Kim and Nene back in the day. Like everybody was
Hmm.
in on the joke. But when it actually is a little bit more like, Karen and Giselle, like I do not wish you well kind of a thing. Like I actually I don't need that. Like I get enough of that in reality. So yeah, I don't know. Like it didn't feel good. It just didn't feel good. So
I would agree with you on like Heavenly, but how do you feel about like a Candace Dillard Bassett?
Candace Dillard. Oh yeah, I didn't think I thought she was mean. I thought Candace was mean. I thought the really beautiful darker complexion lady who's married to the football player, I blocked her
Monique.
name out. Yeah, I thought they were just by the time they were on the show, everybody was just mean.
Well, that one, yeah, where she pulled her hair and yeah, no, that whole thing at the winery, that was not,
No, I don't want that. It's not
no,
entertainment.
no. But
Yeah.
Candace was funny though when she said to
Mm.
Giselle, "Not today, Satan. Not today, neck. Not
Yeah.
today, ankles."
Touche, touche. I'll give you that.
Oh, the way I cackled when that first happened. Anyway. All right. So the queens walk back in from Kahana's elimination. We sort of establish some of our storylines for the episode. Scarlett is coming back from her win. She's happy that she's silenced the haters like Brooke. Mercedes Mercedes apparently needs to pick a struggle, which given her runway outfit, which we will talk about, girl, love you, but girl.
There were some messes.
Oh
Mm.
my goodness. Nina and Ariel both feel like they need to step it up and stand out. And so then we go into the mini challenge, which we don't really need to talk about, but it's they have to get in quick drag and try and get into the backstage door of a concert, Michelle Visage. I don't know. It was
It was
silly.
only kind of funny.
Yeah. It was like Ross Matthews. It was mildly comical.
Yeah. I feel like Nina West was the only one who was actually funny. And I was actually impressed by how she came up with a whole little bit and like used the teeth as a as a prop and like it's all in the camera. I was like, oh, she wasn't playing with y'all
Yeah. No,
this particular episode.
she knew what was up. And then
Yeah.
of course Silky just, takes her body and just slams it into the door. And it's just like, oh, okay. Now we're starting to see what other folks are talking about. Because come on now. And the prize, $1,500 from JJ Malibu. You could buy the whole store. My God. Okay. Anyway. So the winners of the challenge are Nina and Raja O'Hara. And the maxi challenge this week is to divide into teams and to do it. It's an improv challenge to create two she-vangelical talk shows devoted to a certain pop diva of the Queen's choice. There will be hostesses of the show. There will be a live conversion segment, and there will be hymns that will be sung at the end. And so I'm curious, how do you all feel about improv challenges as opposed to last week's acting challenge?
How do we feel about it, or how did they
Yes.
feel when they were bombing it?
Well, I can't imagine they felt too good. I guess just for me, like these lukewarm comedy challenges, it's just not my thing. I prefer like the design challenges. I prefer like the girl group challenges. But like these sort of poorly written, poorly conceived. What?
Not poorly written. So you just feel like it was a fail all the way around. Like,
Okay, the Britney one wasn't so bad. Okay. The Britney one was fine. The
Mhm.
Mariah one, I take issue with.
yeah, yeah.
They really, I was
Stink, stank,
so
stunk.
confused. Stank, stunk. It was painful to watch.
It
I wasn't
was.
as close to fast forwarding through that because I was like,
Truly.
how do y'all not know enough about Mariah?
Okay, first of
It was
all,
Mariah
weird,
Carey.
right?
There is so much they could have done with that. What was going on? And
I,
if they
I
don't know anything, just pick somebody else.
like when Rue came through for the little. Okay, so we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's not put the. Okay, so on the two teams, Team Brittany, we have Nina, Silky, Evie, Vanjie, Brooke, Ariel, and Mercedes. On Team Mariah, we have Raja, Sugar, Scarlet, Plastique, Honey, and Akira. And yes, Team Mariah was a fucking mess. I'm so sorry. Like, if you really, how you are. Okay, let me choose my words carefully. If you are a queer person, especially a drag queen in 2016, and you don't have some Mariah Carey references on the like just ready to go, what are you even do? What have you even been doing? And I'm so sorry. Like Plastique on the runway. Oh, I only learned who Beyonce was 4 years ago. No, you didn't.
That excuse
No,
just
you didn't.
it didn't hold any water, right? And even if you did, let's just say it, right? You could have learned more than you did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, either way, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it was insubstantial.
So, and it's not like, Mariah Carey hadn't at that point hadn't been a pop culture fixture, of course,
For
throughout the
25
90s and
years.
2000s, but like hadn't had recent hits, hadn't
Yeah.
had recent like they're just talking about like, over and over again the technical malfunction on New Year's Eve, which I guess had just happened at that point. But like, there's so much. The episode of Cribs where she's on the Stairmaster in her heels, the Heartbreaker video, the Emancipation of Mimi, the tire swing, I the first
The
Mariah
lip
Carey
Queen of
has,
Christmas.
the
It could
right.
have
first
been a whole
yes.
bit about Christmas season not being about baby Jesus. It's about Mariah
The
Carey.
first
That is
celebrity
why we
ever
all
to be
gathered in this congregation
hospitalized
today.
for exhaustion.
Mariah has never not been famous since 1990. Has like never not been famous, right? The volume of I don't know her. Like you could pick anything, and I would have eliminated the lot of them. I would have just cut that cast down by half in that moment because there's no need for that. I found it unacceptable. I found it inappropriate. I found it offensive.
They found there were so many jokes that they left on the table that they didn't even mention. Like, how dare Akira, as the non-believer, not come out and immediately say, "I don't know her."
Right, right. How dare she?
How dare you? And I love Akira so much. But like it was just like and I have a whole list. Let me go through it of things that I found just confounding about the Mariah sketch.
Not
Okay.
the legal pad.
Right.
First of all, false whistle tones. They they were also just
I,
insulting to Mariah in a way that the Britney group, they had some shady things to say, but they weren't downright insulting.
No, they weren't.
they were
False
acting
whistle
like
tones,
Mariah can't sing for real.
lip
Right.
syncing. No, y'all, Mariah Carey can sing,
Sing.
and she is a wordsmith.
Hmm.
See right through you like you're bathing in Windex. Okay.
And she can sing gospel at that.
At
And
She can
that.
sing gospel.
opera.
She can
Her
put the
mother was an
anointing
opera
on it when she
singer.
needs to.
I mean,
Yeah, you're not gonna play with Mariah. Like you can't. You can't. Like it's just
But they
it was
did.
nonsensical.
It just made no
It
sense.
made no sense.
It made no
And
sense.
Rue, I blame Rue for not calling it out like she called out those H&M outfits that time, right? Like there was more that she could have said and should have said. So,
I feel as though like when they couldn't pull lambs,
yeah.
that was the moment for Rue to be like, y'all need to pick someone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like basic 101. Like also the movie Sparkle. No, there's no
No.
movie called Sparkle. That's not the movie
Right.
that
There
was
is a
released.
movie called Sparkle, but that is not the movie that they were thinking of.
Correct. They are thinking of the movie Glitter, also starring Padma Lakshmi, which was released on 9/11. I'm not even a drag queen. This is not my job. And I know these things. Like, what was Plastique as the person, the exorcist or whatever, doing this Ariana Grande demon voice? What was that? Again, if Akira, if you're going to be an Ariana stan, as the judges pointed out, how dare you not come out in a ponytail?
Right, right.
Makes no sense.
Low-hanging fruit
It's right there.
right there.
It's right there. Scarlett, why is she constantly wiggling in that silk blouse? Mariah Carey! Like, also, I don't think any of these ladies have seen one of those evangelical talk
No.
show, those Trinity
That's what I was
Network
thinking.
Mm-hmm.
situations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't think they
They were all
understood the
acting
reference.
clueless.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-mm.
And as we've said about this show so many times, if you don't know your references, you're not going to win.
No.
Like that's part of what they're testing for to see what references you know, how you play with pop culture. That's all the judges do with each other. And it was like these girls had no idea what the actual assignment was.
But it also, well, and the last one I will just point out, Raja O'Hara, Timmy Matola. Timmy Matola. Girl.
Mm-mm.
But it also just seemed like as they were like deliberating and they were like throwing out like maybe we do Whitney Houston, maybe we do Dolly Parton, maybe we do this person, that person. None of them had any point of reference for anyone,
Yeah.
it seemed like.
It
It
was
was just it
weird.
was just so strange.
Just
Yeah.
It's
strange
just like
for them
where
to
have you
crash and burn the way they did, and not just with the lack of Mariah, like knowledge, but with the characterization. Like you didn't seem to understand the point of the televangelism thing. Like you could have at least built stronger characters if you didn't know much about Mariah. It was just a hot mess.
Higgity hot.
and it didn't even really seem like they were working together or they talked to each
Mm-mm.
No,
other. Like Raja
Mm-mm.
and Honey
not at
are
all.
supposed to be like the singers, and
What
they
was
didn't even know the
that?
lyrics
What was
to
That was
the song
embarrassing.
that they wrote together. One is singing "Throw Glitter on the Mountain," the other one's "Throw Glitter on the Runway." And then Raja couldn't remember the lyrics in the confessional where she's talking about the lyrics of the song. And I, what is going on?
Maybe because I grew up in church, doing churchy is just too easy for me. But
Yeah,
I was like, surely they're gonna get that at
yeah,
least.
yeah.
Surely they're gonna get. Uh, I, I'm just confused. I'm confused on how it was that bad.
The timing, the pacing, everything about it. The
Yeah.
costumes, the looks were not
Costumes. The
good.
looks were offensive.
Oh.
I mean, I cannot remember other than the Shakespeare
Mhm.
sketch, like something that has crashed and burned quite that badly.
Yeah, it was one of the nadirs of the US franchise. And watching this felt like I was watching like Canada season 2. Like it was just it it was under, right? Like the whole
Hmm.
thing was under the level of what it was supposed to be. And I wasn't impressed. I thought it was shameful.
I would agree.
Yeah.
And of course, it made the Britney group look
Better than they should have because
Einstein level.
right. I mean, because it was only fine, in my opinion, right?
Yes, 100%. Though when Nina said, "We will buy Britney frappuccinos, frothy and delicious," that did kind of take me out.
This was Nina's best
Yes,
showing, I feel like, of any episode of any season she's ever done. Like
absolutely.
it just took advantage of the stuff that she did well. But to your earlier point, Rocky, about these improv challenges, I feel like it's the fault is on both sides. I don't know what when the producers are looking at people's videos, are they thinking about, okay, all these girls need to come on here being able to sew, to design, to improv, to land a joke, to move, to sing, like because it seemed like most of these girls just couldn't, had never, didn't think of it. So is this a challenge we really need if none of them can really do it? And then on the other hand, it's like we're 11 seasons in, y'all. Like, you know what the challenges are going to be for the most part. If you know that you're not good at one of these things, take somebody's class, go to Second City, yes, and like improv is not that hard. You could figure something out. I didn't understand. I was offended. I was angry, actually. I
No,
was really in
and
my feelings.
and we know in the modern era, and maybe this idea hadn't sort of taken hold in 2016, but like that girls will, when they know that they are cast for the show, they will go to one of their comedian friends and pay them to write some jokes. Pay them to, like, I'm gonna do Kris Jenner in the Snatch game, write me four funny jokes for Kris Jenner.
That was true in 2016, but this is
Was it?
2019. This is
Oh,
2019.
this is
This is
2019. I thought this was
later.
2016. I'm
No,
sorry.
ma'am. No, ma'am. I mean, that's what makes it even worse. It's
That
like this
makes it
show had
even worse.
been on, and these girls talked
Yeah.
about, I started doing drag when I started watching the show when I was 3. And then it's like, and you didn't learn anything.
Anything. I mean, girls are still coming on this season of All Stars not knowing how to sew.
No, I don't. It's like you don't want the money. You don't want the money. You're just on here playing games. Like that's all that is.
I also wonder how much of it is people performing for TikTok or online
Mm,
Hmm.
on online
mm,
spaces or other spaces where maybe you don't have to have the same
mhm,
kind of grit and raw talent and
mhm.
skill and you can hide a whole lot.
Well, that
You know
is
what I
part
mean?
of, oh yeah. I mean, that is part of Ariel's storyline is that,
Uh,
they're saying she's an Instagram queen, which I would agree with, but I mean,
Looking
she
good
did
in
fine in
pictures
this
and on
mhm.
challenge.
Instagram is so
Challenge.
different from on stage. Like,
No, absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
especially improv.
Yeah.
And on stage is so much different than on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it really, I mean, I guess if this was meant to establish a couple of the girls as ones to watch, like it really did do
Hmm.
that. Because
Hmm.
when I watched this the first time around, I remember this was the point where I was obsessed with Evie because it was very clear that Evie was playing a very different game by the time we got here. And it's clear to me in every episode that, Evie very much understands the medium
Yep.
in which this show exists, that it's both you're playing to people who are live in front of you, you're playing to people on television, and then you're going to be playing to the fans on replay. And she
Hmm.
nails it every time. And a lot of these other girls, I don't know what they're doing.
And I would say the
Evie
same
is so
about
solid.
Vanjie.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Oh
Hmm.
my God.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
mean,
Vanjie's a
Vanjie
star.
was a revelation.
Yeah,
I
Now
she
she
mean,
is.
made me laugh for real.
like single-handedly took that sketch from like, okay, to like, okay, this is acceptable.
Yeah.
because I'm
She
so
had Nina
funny.
breaking character.
So funny.
I actually would have given the win to
To
Vanjie, but
Vanjie.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm glad Nina got her solitary moment.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was just so fun. Thank you, Vanjie. I just thanked myself. I just found these two random whores that don't know shit about Britney. Oh my goodness. Well, needless to say, the girls in the Britney group win handily and
Handily,
deservedly.
deservedly.
Hmm.
Because I mean, I could read that Mariah group all day. You know,
And they
and
would deserve it.
they would. They really would. You know, as just a child of the 90s, Mariah Carey means quite a bit to me. I can do all of the ad-libs and runs and always be my baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I just anyway, should we move on to the runway? I think we should move on to the runway because the less said, the
Uh,
better.
uh,
Well, before we get to the runway, though, we have a little bit of workroom mishigas.
oh
Brooke,
yeah.
we find out about Brooke and Vanjie and their
Hmm.
romance.
Showmance. Yeah.
Getting a little cozy.
Getting a little
Mm.
cozy.
I have always been curious about that. I have always been curious about it. There's something about it that I don't know, just didn't quite, and maybe it was more on Brooke's part, and I think there was something that just never felt very genuine about it to me. And I don't, and when I say it's on Brooke's part, I think the way Brooke came off this season
hmm
was very, it never felt, we didn't get a lot of heart from her. So like whatever connection they had to me didn't read because Vanjie is like all heart
hmm
and Brooke is like such a professional. So I never really knew what to do with that. I never really know what to do with any of these little, weird together and we're trying to compete against each other. First of all, I'm like, if that's what you're doing, then you are very confused. Because not only is this not RuPaul's best friends race, this is also not that. You need to have your head in the game. You need to be focused. You need not to be worried about what these other kids are doing over here, because all is going to happen is you two are going to end up in a lip sync against each other, and one of y'all is going home. So I never like that. But this one, it just made me feel, I don't know. I guess I really like Vanjie, and I really did not enjoy Brooke on this season. So maybe that was part of it.
Well, I mean, as we learned last week, Vanjie's a Libra and Brooke is a Pisces, so I just kind of chalked it up to like they can't help it. That's just what they're gonna do, you know?
Yeah. Well, okay, we can. Yeah, let's leave it there.
With love, with love.
Yeah.
And then they try to get Akira and Vanjie and a couple of other people try to have a little heart-to-heart with Mercedes about her religion. Akira is all up in the minimization mindset. Like, isn't mosque a church? Isn't that the same thing?
Somebody said, you go to mausoleum?
You got a
Is that what
mausoleum? Miss Akira. And Mercedes does not want to go there at all.
Not at all. Walked away.
Mhm. Stop the confessional. Say, can we talk about something else?
Hmm.
I do wonder if they will come back to that at all.
I don't think they
I-
do, as I recall.
Yeah, I don't I feel like they don't come back to it on the main show, and I don't remember Untucked well enough to know if they get back into it. But I can also just appreciate that being a Muslim person and and some of the other things that like Mercedes had shared, like that was probably just not a time to be playful about any kind of religion,
hmm
anything, and the sort of, I don't know, blasé attitude around it. Like It was just like, all right, y'all, another thing. Let's do another thing. I was just not. I
Yeah,
didn't
I
enjoy
mean,
it.
we're in the middle of the first Trump administration, the first travel
Hmm.
ban.
Yeah.
Hmm.
She'd already talked
Hmm.
about being on the no-fly list.
Hmm.
I get it.
Yeah.
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 I will say with Mercedes, though, in the challenge gave in the acting challenge gave nothing. Gave
Mm-mm.
nothing. And I
Nothing.
truly felt by the end of the episode like, oh, she is only here because the rest of the team was good.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Hmm.
the reason she's still
Hmm.
here.
I mean,
Hmm.
I
So
have
I'm like, you got to give us personality
something.
Something.
somewhere.
Yeah.
And I get like if you don't connect to like the reference, if you haven't been to church and maybe you don't get the whole televangelism thing, but again, that's when you do research. That's when you
Hmm.
ask folks like, okay, what is this experience like? Explain it to me. Or, I'm like, are they not allowed to pull up YouTube real quick or something?
I think they're not
I
allowed
don't
to
think
use their
so.
phones.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, that
but
makes sense.
there
But you
could
can
there
ask a lot of people.
right, there needed to be a conversation on the team around this is what that is, especially from some of the
Mm-hmm.
slightly older girls who would have been able to remember growing up, in the earlier 90s where these things were always on late at
Mm-hmm.
night. You turn on your TV, you see these kinds of things because there was a fair amount of cluelessness that was happening in on both of those teams about what that was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And Mercedes, it's like Vanjie said at the beginning of the episode. Like, she's not bringing the personality. She doesn't have the looks. Like, girl, like, you gotta pick a struggle. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so,
Mm-hmm.
so, so, so sorry. And she had one joke that she had to land in that whole thing, and she couldn't do it.
She couldn't do it.
And it's just like, okay, maybe you don't get the joke, but that's when you sit down with one of your teammates, preferably the one who came up with the joke, Ariel, and just say, explain to me why this is funny. Not that it was funny, but because it wasn't funny,
Yeah.
but at least like what's the timing? What's the point? How do I deliver this? And then you just go out and you deliver your one line and you call it a day. I have expected Rue to be like, okay, like the Mariah team, y'all are on the bottom, obviously, and Mercedes, you stay right here, please. Because, like, absolutely the weakest link, without
And
question.
watching this episode, it was also so clear, like who the next three people to go home were, right? Like because no shade to Ariel, but it was I probably also would have just sent her home too, just out of the feeling like
Mm-hmm.
it's about to happen in a week or two. So let me just simplify this moment because like I was also getting not quite what I needed from her either.
hmm
Yeah,
And
this
we'll talk about her runway outfit in a second.
are we?
Girl.
Oh, girl.
Girl. All right. So let's go to the runway. So this week on the panel, we have Rue and Michelle, of course. We have the sort of comical Ross Matthews. Did I ever tell my Ross Matthews story?
No, I didn't know you had a Ross
I don't
Matthews
think so.
story.
Oh,
I want to
we
hear
were
it.
in Palm Springs a couple of years ago. Because we love to go to Palm Springs, my husband and I. And we were at a restaurant. It was our anniversary, our wedding anniversary. We were having
Oh,
dinner. And we walk in, and so there's an outdoor patio. And so the entrance to the restaurant, you enter through the patio. And as soon as we open the door, there's the mildly titillating Ross Matthews sitting at a table right next to the door
by
with two
himself?
friends. No, with two
Oh,
friends.
oh.
And so I was just like immediately like, that's Ross Matthews. And so we went and we sat at our table and we were having dinner or whatever. And maybe like 45 minutes later, a group of young gay men walk into the restaurant, and one of them immediately start just takes to the ground, like just falls on the floor screaming and crying. Oh my God, you were such an inspiration. Oh my goodness, and Ross Matthews, oh my yeah, and I was just like, is is that why you're sitting next to the door? That was my first thought. That was my first thought. That was my first thought. I'm sure that's not the case. I'm sure that's not the case. Please don't be mad. I'm sure we'll cross paths again in Palm Springs. It's a small town. But I'm just saying, because he was next to the door. He was in front of the, you open the door and there's Ross Matthews. So he could have sat anywhere else in the restaurant because it wasn't busy, it wasn't full. So that's all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is he and the other one, and I'm just at the big age of 31, every joke being a bottom joke is just not funny to me.
Mhm.
They both can be on a different show, and we can just have Maddie every week. Like I actually don't understand why somebody
Love
never,
that.
right? And I don't, Rue, if you're listening, and I know you are a regular listener of this, like I really need you to take heed to this. Listen to the people. The people want Maddie.
And I also enjoyed La
I agree.
Rouge.
Oh, I did too. Like a
Yes.
little
Hmm.
unexpectedly. I
Hmm.
Laws softened a little bit
A little
from
bit.
his time on HBO when
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. That's actually that judging panel, the four of them, because I would like to
That
keep
would
the
be
chat.
amazing.
Yeah,
That would be so
I
fun.
would really, really enjoy that. They can also keep a lot of these guest judges,
Yeah, well, I was
a
gonna
whole
say,
lot of them.
speaking of bottoming jokes, we also have Troye Sivan, which
Yeah.
twink in chief, I guess.
Yeah.
And and of course, Guillermo Diaz,
Yes.
who is,
Who I
Yeah.
love.
I think
Yeah.
he's fine,
Yes, he
and
is.
half
Yes,
Yeah.
half baked is
he is.
one of the one of the finest cinematic performances. All right, the category this week is fringe. We don't have a fun pun, it's just fringe. First to the stage, we have Miss Honey Davenport in a long black vinyl gown, a large hat, fringe at the bottom of the gown, and the sleeves, fringe coming down from the brim of the hat. It is based on a Lady Gaga costume and dedicated to all those who have been lost to gun violence for some reason. So, okay, cool, 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 cool. I found this look to be a bit heavy and just kind of swallow her up, but that is just, yeah.
I didn't hate the look at all. And I mean I thought it was fine. Like it may not have been there were better executions on the
Yes.
runway, but it wasn't the worst of her looks over the season, and it wasn't the worst of the night.
I feel like if it was maybe just like a smaller fringe,
Yeah,
it
the
might
fringe
have,
was very thick.
it was very, very
Yeah.
thick. It
I guess,
really did.
no.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
Somebody on the judging panel said it looked like VCR tape, and I was just like, you're not wrong.
No. No.
Yeah, if it was a smaller, thinner fringe, I think it would have been much better, and it would have looked very much lighter, and it would have just flowed a little bit better, and sort of given the effect that I think she was going for. But that's just me. All right, Scarlett in a white corset and panties with bejeweled fringe hanging off the sleeves and the sides, and some jewels hanging from her nails as well. I thought it was fine, I guess.
It was
I thought
very
it's
Scarlet.
fine. It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
cute.
Hmm. Yeah.
whatever. All right, Sugar in very intense makeup. She's wearing a bodysuit with some fringe on it that is inspired by her Apache heritage. She comes out first wrapped in a blanket, and then she reveals. It's very like lots of turquoise jewelry, reds, oranges, very fiery, very colorful. I thought it was cute.
I did too. I liked it. I even
Beautiful.
liked the
I liked it.
shoes.
Hmm. And I liked
Hers is
her
one of
hair.
my
It was
favorites.
interesting.
Yeah, man, love the makeup.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
thought it was, and it was so different from what all the other girls did that, that this is one of the moments that I was like, oh, I like Suga. I
Yeah.
really like her.
Yes.
And in the critique, when Michelle is critiquing one of the other girls who is wearing just a bodysuit, she was like, "Look at Sugar.
Mhm,
That's a bodysuit with some stuff that makes it interesting. This is just a bodysuit."
Mhm.
So take heed. Next up, we have Plastique serving silver champagne glamour short dress. She looks very beautiful, but nothing earth-shattering in my opinion. She just looks like beautiful woman in a beautiful dress
Doing what she does
doing what
every
she
single
does.
day. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
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 Akira, wearing sort of an Asian-inspired sort of chandelier headpiece in gold, a floor-length gold and black gown with fringe going down in sections. Very queenly, very goddessy. I'm here for it.
I loved it.
Beautiful.
Hmm.
It's gorgeous,
Yes.
especially the headdress,
Hmm.
but the whole
Yes.
thing, I loved it.
Yes.
On the other side of the coin, however, we have Raja in just sort of a red sparkly bodysuit and boots. Felt very pedestrian, matching red wig, which, what is this? My eyes are starved for beauty.
It was so underwhelming.
It
Just underwhelming.
was just very underwhelming.
I like the
Speaking,
boots.
the boots were cute, but I mean,
Yeah.
she looked fine. It was a great, it's a good outfit for
For
like
hosting.
Sunday brunch is what I was gonna
Mm-hmm.
say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to
Yeah.
do some flips and tricks
Right.
like on Sunday brunch at Palace in Miami. Go for it. Oh, Lord Jesus, Nina. I just wrote mop with three
Yeah.
exclamation points.
Yeah.
That
This,
was
I hated the shoes. Hated the shoes. I liked the wig. It was definitely giving Mop from Broadway's Beauty and the Beast, right? Like they definitely like enchanted object in the house or something. But this is why I wouldn't have given her the win because to
exactly,
me
precisely.
it just wasn't what it could have been.
I thought it was ugly from head to toe. From head to toe.
Did not like it much, but I still prefer this over just a boring bodysuit
Oh yeah.
that got
Oh
nothing
yeah.
to say. I also feel like this episode didn't have a whole lot of folks who I don't know if anyone actually did really well at both the improv and the runway.
No, I
So
don't
Good
think
I
point.
so.
see how Nina West still won. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
No, you're correct. Well, actually, I
We're
might
about
argue
to get to Vanjie.
there's another one, an Evie, I think, coming up. I,
Oh, okay, true,
yeah,
true.
I'm just,
Evie could have won. Never mind.
I'm just saying. So next to the stage is Miss Brooklyn Heights, giving flower child realness, cascading daisies on a nude illusion gown. I kind of question whether this is fringe, but
It didn't work for me. I didn't
maybe
like the
I
look.
don't. The wig felt very flat with her
Hmm.
flower crown on it, and it just sort of gave everything like a weird sort of flatness.
And the
It
makeup was very severe.
was very severe. It was not giving
Yeah.
soft 60s flower
No,
child,
no, it wasn't.
hippie. No,
No, no.
no.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I feel
Mm-mm.
like you need to go with sort of like a softer, more natural look if you're
Yeah.
gonna do hippie flower child, but what do
Yeah.
I know? I don't do drag. Next up, we have Vanjie, another sparkly red bodysuit, and with a long black share-like wig. I was underwhelmed, but I think she sells it a little bit more than
Mhm.
Raja, just with her personality.
I thought she looked pretty. I
Yeah,
mean,
she looked pretty.
it wasn't like a lot to it, but to me, it stayed at a level, right? Like
Mhm.
it wasn't, she didn't like dip down with it. It didn't necessarily push her into the stratosphere either, but I thought she looked good.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, I. I think there were very few, like even Raja, and I had shit to say about that. Like she looked good. She just didn't.
Yeah.
You would think, on the runway at RuPaul's Drag Race, you want things to be elevated. At least, like, I didn't like Nina's, but at least she was taking it to, like, a more sort of adventurous place.
Yeah. Except for the shoes.
Except for the shoes.
Yeah.
Except for the shoes. All right, next up, my winner for Best Runway, Evie Oddly, sort of
Mm.
giving you giant
Mhm.
jellyfish couture, pink
Mhm.
from head to toe, beautiful umbrella with the fringe dress, and it was just whatever the material was, it just moved so beautifully. It was ethereal. It looked like a jellyfish under the sea, like she was floating down the runway. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Agreed.
The complete opposite of the spectrum. Now I'm gonna have to put down my pad again because Mercedes and Mon Diamond.
Yeah. It- the color scheme. Can we start with the color scheme? The wig, that red wig against the neon green wasn't I didn't understand that as a just as a starting place.
The way the fringe was placed, sort of asymmetrically across her chest, juxtaposed with the military olive green drab camouflage fabric on her other shoulder. What?
Yeah, no, it
But
if
then,
it
like the patent leather boots and like the collar, are you trying to give us military? Are you trying to give us kink? Are you trying to give us lampshade? I don't.
And then the lampshade hat with the neon green fringe over the red wig.
I didn't understand it, and clearly y'all didn't either.
No idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
I don't, my dad used to say when somebody was wearing a terrible outfit because he was a Taurus, um, it's not what they're wearing, it's when they went into the store, what did they ask for?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Wise words, wise words.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just wondering what Mercedes asked her designer for. And then when this came out, when the designer said, I made it, isn't it pretty? And she put it on her body and she looked at herself in the mirror. She said, I'm going to be on TV until the end of time in this outfit on my body. And that's okay. I think it speaks to a certain taste level that perhaps is not.
Yeah.
But okay. Okay. And we'll
But
move
this
on.
is
It kind of feels
also,
like she's still just trying to find herself in
yeah,
Yeah.
general.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
between this and like some of the looks, between the looks being confusing and like not having a whole lot of personality, it's not just that like maybe she has a different cultural background or immigrated or like it's not just that. It's just
Yeah.
like she's missing a point of view.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, this is beyond English isn't my first language, and I'm
Yeah.
recently here in this country. This is you're exactly right, Paige. There's a point of view challenge
Hmm.
very present. Everything that she did so well in the lip sync the week before, where all of a sudden I got, oh, this is who this person is. Here it was like I don't understand, and I don't know that you understand it either, friend. It was
Mm-mm.
hard to watch in some ways.
But we could go downtown. I'm sure Mercedes is performing some Pride event, and I would hope that 6 years on
Yeah,
that, she's worked that out. I would think. But good Lord,
it's a
this was
challenge.
rough. This was
Yeah.
rough. All right, next up, another hideous one, Ariel, with these holographic paillettes, a two-piece crop top, and an ugly skirt and a weird length. Very neon, very ugly, not fringe at
Not also
all.
not
No.
friends. Yeah.
Big wig that looked like it needed to be combed. I just not for me.
I liked her eye makeup. Um,
Wasn't she wearing sunglasses?
I'm I'm trying this diplomacy thing, Rocky.
Okay.
This outfit for me was the worst, far and away. Like I even because like I felt like maybe there were three or four ideas happening with Mercedes outfit that maybe individually weren't problematic or could have worked. I just don't know that any of this was going to work. Like I didn't understand what she was wearing. I didn't understand. I didn't get it. Not only did it not make any sense on her, it didn't meet the brief, the color schemes, and I'm literally wearing pastels right now. Like I actually like all of those colors, but I don't it wasn't right. Like it just wasn't it. Yeah. I would have
It
sent her
wasn't.
home.
And I wonder if they ever think about because the runway, I think, the last couple of seasons, they sort of, you have this new sort of LED stage and they sort of, set the colors to fit the challenge and whatnot. But like back then, you had the runway and you had her outfit actually clashed with the room. Like it looked terrible next to the stage. And I'm like, how did you do that? But okay, maybe I'm crazy.
Well, again, I do think this point of view, right? Like this was
mhm.
like I feel like
Yes.
I just never got who she was as a drag queen. Like, and I believe she's probably a great queen,
Oh, I'm
whatever she
sure.
does in
I'm
her,
sure.
day to day, like maybe it comes together because I really do feel like I want to give people some credit for like maybe you're like a really brilliant host and just what they're doing on the show doesn't quite take advantage of it. But I don't know. I actually felt bad for her. I was just like, I don't know what you do. And nothing that's happened on the show is presenting you in a light that I feel like you were probably happy with.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've said it before, but I think, all of these queens are, I'm sure, brilliant at drag. It's just not perhaps great at drag race. And
Yeah.
it's two different
Uh,
things, right?
two very different
Like your
things.
art form, your craft is brilliant and beautiful, but like this is a very specific place,
Yeah.
competition where you have to have very specific skills and play to the camera at the same time. 'Cause, like her point of view has always been like, oh, Jersey, 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 Jersey Shore. Who's wearing that at the Jersey Shore? Like, I'm just saying, like, not to be mean, but finally, we have Silky Nutmeg Ganache in a big old giant blue moo type situation, where she says there's 80 yards of blue fringe on it. It's not particularly beautiful or well made, but I think she sells it with the
Yeah.
force of her personality. So.
And it
Good
was
for you,
actually
Cynthia.
fringe.
And it was actually French. It was actually French. It was actually French. So, as we mentioned, Team Mariah is in the bottom, obviously. Stink, Stank, Stunk. Nina wins the challenge. And rather than pick a bottom two, we have a bottom six for the first time in Drag Race history.
Should have been
And
a bottom eight, but please continue. I interrupted.
and so the six ladies on the losing team all have to lip sync to the Hex Hector remix of Waiting for Tonight by Jennifer Lopez, which is personally for me, this is one of my least favorite things that has ever happened in the history of Drag Race. Like, I don't even like it when it's three
Yeah,
queens lip
agreed.
syncing at the same time
Agreed.
because I don't know where to focus. They don't know how to edit it so that it makes sense in any way. There, to me, there was no one that stood out on this. I think it was a terrible song to lip
Yeah.
sync to because it just didn't go anywhere.
Mm-mm.
Like the original Waiting for Tonight would have been like amazing, right? But like it just was it was just a big old cluttered mess. I didn't enjoy it. The queens did not have space on the stage to perform.
Yeah.
So, which, we saw from because Honey jumps off the stage and starts rolling around and somersaulting in the little dirty area between the stage and the judges' table, just looking a full mess. Takes off the hat. She's not wearing a wig, she's just wearing a cap. She just, and the desperation just comes through the interpretation of the song. Like, yeah, no, J-Lo was waiting for tonight, but not like that. She was she was not desperately pining and waiting for tonight like she was waiting for her husband to come back from war.
It was so hard to watch.
It was so hard to watch.
Uh,
Cringe, just
Yes.
cringe.
And then just all the other girls getting saved. And then finally it comes down to Honey and Sugar is saved, and Honey has to leave us. So how did you all feel about that?
I,
The
Honey
flipping and the
never,
flailing and the flopping.
she definitely lost that lip sync, like
Yes.
unequivocally. I didn't think she was the worst on the episode, but I also felt like she was somebody who, like, it wasn't going anywhere.
No.
Like
Mm.
like it just wasn't going anywhere. Like I guess to your earlier point, Rocky, I don't think this was her property, right? Like I
Hmm.
don't think that Drag Race that particular season was going to show her off well, and it almost felt like a mercy killing.
Because I mean, we hear all this. I've never seen Honey perform, but apparently she's a legend in New York, and I believe it
I do too.
absolutely. But yeah,
Yeah,
this just wasn't her
yeah,
gag.
yeah, it just wasn't.
No.
It wasn't. And her mirror message made me sad.
There was a lot of sadness
Yeah, like it was
with
weird
her
because
story.
usually
Yeah.
when a girl goes home, unless it's somebody who I'm like absolutely crazy about, like I never feel like even like a little bit of sadness, but there was just something about I think I wrote it down. Sisters, if nothing else, show the world your heart. I hope y'all saw mine. XOXO, honey. Like there was something like I wish that the show had been constructed in a way that whoever that person is who wrote that message could have come through more clearly in the show because it just didn't come together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Mm.
pour one out for Honey Davenport.
Yeah.
Hope that you are doing well and that your husband came back. But we will be back, not next episode, but the episode after that to talk about episode 4. This is always so fun. I love this little blast from the past that we're doing. I'm super excited. It's fun to revisit this with y'all.
You're welcome.
Um, but I don't know if you all need it, but after a cursory look at the news this morning, I could use some pure black joy. So we'll be right back with that. All right, and we are back with Pure Black Joy. This is the part of the show where we talk about the black people, art, music, food that is making us happy this week. And this week, Pure Black Joy comes from Dr. Lee. Dr. Lee,
Hello.
what you got?
So this is going to seem a little out of left fieldish, but y'all will be fine. Um, it's probably clear that I really, really like science fiction. My big knock against science fiction is they pretend like there are no black people in the future. And
Hmm.
across so many of these movies, we are just like not well represented. One of my favorite ones from when I was a little kid was a movie by Mel Brooks called Spaceballs. It came out in
Hmm.
1987 and it starred Mel Brooks, John Candy, Rick Moranis, and the late, great Joan Rivers. And it was a big, like a sort of a spoof on Star Wars. And I hadn't even seen any of those at this point in my life, but I just loved this movie because it was just so weird and so stupid. Well, they've announced that they are making a part two with much of the remaining living cast members and Kiki Palmer.
Oh.
And I am so excited about this because I would watch Kiki Palmer in literally anything. I think she is absolutely hilarious. She does really, really well with things that are fundamentally stupid. She can handle anything, and I think she's such a great addition to this franchise. So that made me really excited to see that. And yes, people, Black people will be in the future. We may not be here on Earth with y'all because we are tired, but we are going to be somewhere. And Kiki Palmer may just tell us next year when Spaceballs 2 comes out.
Well, okay. Well, congratulations, Kiki.
And congratulations to me. I'm the one who gets to
Congrats.
see it.
Well, okay, congratulations to you.
Bring me out.
Love Kiki though. So funny, so smart.
Just brilliant.
Well, on that lovely note, I think we can call it a day. So make sure that you subscribe to the show wherever you're listening. Leave us a review, please. It really helps us out. Make sure you tell all of your friends that might like our style. What's going on over here at the score? And before we go, any words of wisdom?
Ah, Jesus. I mean, pick one, right? But some things are going to be happening this weekend. A
Mm,
lot of activism, and I think it's really important. And I hope people really, really are careful out there because the other side is clearly trying to provoke a certain kind of response, and they are not going to rest until they have done it. So please, as you are exercising your First Amendment rights, just be very, very careful.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
I would absolutely agree with that. We are recording this on Friday the
The
13th,
13th.
and so so many demonstrations and protests and things are happening on the 14th. So but I'm assuming that these will continue for the foreseeable future. And so I would just also,
Mhm.
if you're going down there, turn off the biometrics on your phone.
Hmm. Hmm.
Memorize somebody's phone number who's actually going to pick up the phone when you call.
Mhm.
If perhaps some handcuffs get slipped on your wrist, do not say anything. Ask for a lawyer and then shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We're not talking about Miranda rights. We're talking about Miranda reminders. Anything that you say can and will be used against you at any point, not just simply after you have been arrested. So just shut up and do not sign any piece of paper that is put in front of you that is not given to you by your attorney. Um, anything
Write that
else?
National Lawyers Guild number on your arm, you know.
Mm-hmm,
Mhm.
mm-hmm.
Write that down. Milk is not the best remedy for tear gas. It is actually just water. If you have saline solution, cool. If there's some type of gentle wash, milk will make it worse, actually. Try to tell a friend where you're going, you know. Learn, know what situational awareness is, situational awareness, and practice it. And if things feel like they are getting escalated, you can get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can get out of there. Things are feeling real retaliatory out here.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mhm.
you know, practice listening to that sense in the back of your head that tells you things are turning up. Listen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We uh we have instincts for a reason.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
make sure you listen to those instincts that you have gotten from your ancestors that you have inherited. Tap into that and stay safe.
Stay safe, everybody.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's fun. So happy we get to have that conversation again.
Again.
Mhm. But we will be back in 2 weeks, and maybe I will have seen Sinners by then, and we can have a conversation about that, and hopefully not about World War III.
Well,
Well,
not
too late.
right.
Okay, well, we'll see you next time. Bye, America.
Bye-bye.
Forever,
For
literally.
good.